Hello and welcome. Man, I think we're probably Hi everyone, welcome to Whimsical Wednesday. I am so glad you're here. I cannot believe it's the middle of the week already. Happy hump day to everyone. We are almost to Friday. We are going to do something fun tonight. We're going to talk about what I call, or not, it's just not what I call, a lot of us in the furniture industry, at least the brand ambassadors with Dixie Belle, we call it Frankensteining furniture. You know, Frankenstein was kind of pieced together, right, from a lot of different parts and pieces. And sometimes we are asked to create pairs or sets or maybe a bedroom set, and you don't have all the right pieces, and you just sort of piece pieces together and design them and paint them in a way that they're cohesive and they work together. So that's what we're going to do tonight. My name is Tracey. My business is Tracey's Fancy. I'm a Dixie Belle brand ambassador, and we meet right here on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock Central Time and paint whatever is going on in my shop right now, or any special type of promotions that we have going on with Dixie Belle. We might talk about those as well. Right now, tonight is just to talk to y'all about making the set behind me appear. So before I go any further, my husband Matt's behind the camera. He's banning any comments and things right now.
Hi guys.
He's saying hello. Do we have any anything you want to let me know before I get into the project? Also, while he's looking back at some comments, if you guys noticed, I have a little bit of a mess going on in my face. I'm fine. I have some boo-boos, got some here and up here. So it's just dermatologist. It was just a check that I needed to have done several years ago and did not. And so I had some spots removed, like some, spots that don't need to be there. So that's what the boo-boos are. So just in case you ask, I got to get that out of the way. Okay, doesn't stop me though. This is my 4th live video for the week, so here I am in all of my glory. Anything you want to talk to me about or tell me? Do we have people on?
We've got people on from Helotes to Australia.
Oh,
and,
so I'm in San Antonio, Texas. Matt just said someone was on from Helotes. So hello, my Texas friend. Thank you for being here. Dixie Belle has retailers and we have brand ambassadors all across the world. In other countries, so we get people on these live videos from all over, and I just love it. So let me show you. A couple of weeks ago, I'm sure you guys remember that we worked on this piece right here. This is a nightstand that we did together on several live videos because it's a really, it was a pretty big process. All parts of this nightstand. This nightstand will actually, I did not create it as a custom order. But it is all Dixie Belle product, everything on here, all the way to the checkerboard and gold leaf side. Everything about this nightstand is Dixie Belle. And we, while I was live, it sold, and it is going to New Jersey. It's going to New Jersey. So, the lady who bought that has asked me to create a second piece for her. This will be going in a 4-year-old little girl's room. And she wanted a nightstand to go on both sides. So I was like, well, I mean, that's like a needle in a haystack, right? To find a piece that looks just like this. But I can find you a similar piece. I obviously didn't want to get like a little dainty nightstand or a little French provincial nightstand. That would not work, right? So I got busy on Facebook Marketplace and I just started searching and searching and searching. And I found another piece. It isn't the same style, the same brand, but it's that same chunky, big, has a lot of detail, and it's this piece right here. So let's move over here to the side, and let me show you this piece. So you can see that it has, at least the top hardware is a little bit similar. It does have some carvings on it. We're not going to feature those carvings very much, but it does leave some blank space here, because obviously the other nightstand has Alice in Wonderland scene going on the front. Now we are not going to copy the Alice in Wonderland scene. We are going to make a different Alice in Wonderland scene over on this side. She has specifically asked for the white rabbit. So I am going to pull the Alice transfer out of my inspiration kit. I don't know if you guys are new. You might not know that Dixie Belle offers these brand ambassador inspiration kits. We call them Inspo Boxes. It comes to you just like this. It looks just like this. This one happens to be mine because I'm going to pull the Alice kit out of it. But inside that, it has a card with the piece of furniture that I've finished. It tells you where to go to get the tutorial for it. And on the other side is a little love note a little love note from me. And then it has everything inside this kit that you would need to complete the look of that chair. So I'm actually going to pull the furniture transfer out of it so that we can talk about that a little bit. And we're just going to close this up and leave the rest of this kit over here to the side. So if you look at this piece, even though it is very different from that piece, I wasn't worried about that because it's that same style. It's a little bit bigger. The mom was totally okay with that. But I did notice that something that really stands out on the other piece is the black and white striped ball feet, right? Those are pretty awesome. They look amazing. And this piece did not have it. But I wasn't worried about it because look at the bottom of this piece, you guys. Look at the bottom of it. It is gorgeous. It's solid and thick. And I thought, well, I'll just make the whole bottom black and white stripe, this whole base. And it'll give that same vibe. Well, then she reached out to me and she said, I really like the feet. My husband's a contractor. And if I send you some feet, will you add them? And I said, well, I'll paint them and send them back in a drawer. And her husband's going to add them. So look what she did. She sent me 4 feet. They're a little bit different than that one. They have a little bit smaller stripes. But I'm still going to be adding these 4 feet that are in this drawer.
They look like they go to that nightstand.
I know. Isn't it crazy? The wood color and everything. I mean, it's exactly the color of the nightstand. So we are really Frankensteining a piece, you guys. We really are.
So, do you have a favorite top coat? And if you do, why?
I do have a favorite top coat. My favorite top coat is Gator hide. And that is because of its durability, but I know that a lot of people are afraid to use Gator hide, but honestly, if you will use a top coat in satin, clear Dixie Belle satin top coat first, just put one coat of satin top coat down, and then put your first coat of Gator hide down, super sheer coat of Gator hide, and then do a second coat. It goes on beautifully. It really, really does take you off of that struggle bus if you do that. So I like satin and I like clear. I like clear satin coat and I like Gator hide. Okay, so let's talk about this piece right here. These 3 drawers are where my scene will be. All right, so let's pull out. I just kind of want you to see what my mental process is as I get going. So I'm going to pull out the transfer here, and let's find the sheet that has the white rabbit on it. So here's the white rabbit. There's actually a couple versions of the white rabbit. Now the chair scene is the largest, so this one will not be that large because she wants the rabbit. So we are going to go with one of these, and I'm probably going to go with this one right here, this rabbit right here. So I'm going to create a scene around the rabbit, and I'm not sure exactly what I'll do yet. I don't know, and I'm not worried about it. I probably will also use, if you'll look over on the other nightstand, y'all see the decoupage paper? Let me grab some. Hold on just a second.
Why are people afraid of Gator hide, babe?
Some people they just are afraid of Gator hide because it gets a bad rap because people say it's hard to work with. But if you just know how to use it and you work with it and you practice it and you aren't too heavy-handed and you put a satin coat down first, it goes on beautifully. It really does. You just have to practice. And it's a great, great product. It's super die-hard. I'm trying to see if I have any more of this decoupage paper. Do I not? Oh no. Oh no, I'm going to need the 911 me some decoupage spring flower paper. So the bottom of the nightstand over there is the spring flowers decoupage rice. It's the rice paper from Dixie Belle. These are all the Dixie Belle papers. And I'm out. I'm going to have to get myself some. So that's what the flowers are, the field of flowers beneath her. So I know that I will do this bottom in the field of flowers, and I'll probably have him in the field of flowers, and then he may even go in with Alice and, what do you call this, like her guard. I probably will hang some more clocks. So just letting you know, I'm not super, super sure what I'm doing, but what I do know is that I am using the rabbit, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do a solid Harlequin stencil on the front, and let me tell you why. It does not have to match exactly. We are Frankensteining it together. It just needs to be cohesive. Well, when I take the hardware off of this piece, actually, now, would you mind doing that for me? When I take this hardware off, you may notice that this is raised, and there's an inset around here. So if I'm going to I can do that with the transfers. Transfers will go up over around that just perfectly, no problem. But a stencil, if I do stencil, I may only stencil the raised area. I don't want to try to stencil, bend it, stencil, go over the drawer, into the inset. So it really wouldn't make that much of a difference if I went to all that trouble. So I either am going to not do Harlequin at all on the front, or I'm only going to do this outer part right here. Okay, so we've now got we've decided what we're going to do basically. I know that I need to get my tea rose paint on. So I have white lightning in here, and it's time for a bath. So I'm going to just start down the front with you guys, because we're just going to do drawers tonight. So this is what I do. When I tell y'all to give a shower, so do you see that? Do you see white lightning? It's just running down in all the cracks and crevices. I just let it do its thing. And I also, usually, I have gloves on. So white lightning is Dixie Belle's cleaner. It's an amazing cleaner. It has a proprietary blend, including trisodium phosphate, and it cleans really, really well. Now, I'm not sure on this piece if I'm going to need to prime it or not. The other piece I did not have to. This one I don't know. Sometimes you can tell right now when I start to wipe this down. So I give it a good shower. I would do the whole piece. But right now we're just going to work on the front. And then I go ahead and just take my cloth here. Okay, so you can see that I'm pulling off. Now, I'm not sure if that's stain or wood tann's coming through, or if that's just old furniture polish. I'm not really sure. So I may go ahead and choose, just to be safe, to use a primer. Okay, so that's that. You can see, nasty, right? Nasty, even though it was a pretty clean piece. So then what I do, since now I've decided I will probably go ahead and put a primer coat on there, you don't want to leave white lightning. I probably didn't get all the white lightning off. So you don't want to leave white lightning on your piece and then just start painting, because if you've got white lightning on there, white lightning is meant to take things off. So your paint probably is not going to adhere very well in any of the deep cracks where you have or even on the surface. So next, thank you, baby. So next I spray with just straight water. So it gets a second shower. Doesn't matter if it's a giant armoire or a little tiny jewelry box. I do the same thing. Shower with white lightning, wipe it all up, shower with just water, and wipe it all up. Okay, so now this is just straight water. So now I'm just rinsing with straight water, just removing my white lightning. I'm still getting some residue coming off. That is what I do not want to come through my porous chalk paint. And it really would not show up on my chalk paint until I put my top coat on when I'm completely done with the whole project. So anytime you're cleaning like this and you are thinking that you want to do a light colored piece like tea rose or fluff like that piece is, you need to prime. You got to prime. Choose what primer you want, but you need to prime. If I were going to paint this piece in peacock or cobalt blue or amethyst or aubergine or antebellum blue, any of those really dark colors, then you don't need to worry about priming anything.
How would you prep granite?
Slick stick. I would use slick stick on granite. So I would wash it with white lightning, and I would use slick stick. Are you familiar with Dixie Belle products? Whoever's asking, I would slick stick that for sure.
Would you use slick stick on marble as well?
Yes, I would slick stick marble, tumbled stone, backsplash, ceramic tile, slick stick metal, slick stick glass. Yes, for sure. You can do the tops of these. A lot of these big, gorgeous nightstands. I call this like Tuscan, right? Isn't this like a Tuscan style furniture? A lot of them have marble tops, and you don't have to stick to that marble if you don't want to. If you want to paint it, you can. But use slick stick on it.
Would you scuff it first?
The marble? Not with slick stick. You don't need to scuff it with slick stick. If you're going to use slick stick, you don't need to. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that shaking this B.O.S. did not do it. It has look at this. It's been out here and settled. So see that? See how lumpy that is? This one's been out here for, this one is white B.O.S.S, and I don't use a lot of white B.O.S S. I use mostly gray.
Do you want a newer one?
See this? No, I can stir it up. It'll stir right in. It's not a problem. People are like, ooh, this is terrible. No, that's the good stuff down there in the bottom. All you have to do is stir it. Just stir it up. Just get a stick down in there. It'll stir right up. All right, so that clumpy stuff that was in the bottom of my B.O.S stirred right up. You just got to get down in there and get it and stir it up. That's it. All right, so we are going to start priming right now. Can they see down here? I feel so way down in here. All right, so I'm using my flat medium brush right now. I don't always use a synthetic brush when I'm priming, but I want this to be a really good smooth finish. A lot of times if I prime, I just use one of my chip brushes and toss it, but I don't know, no reason. It was just the brush that was here. So you don't have to sand, no sanding required, no sanding, no, don't even need to scuff. You're working with wood. People say, oh, but it had a really shiny finish on it. That's okay, it's okay. I only say to give it a scuff sand if it is one of the, we always talk about it. If it's one of the, what's the company that I always talk about? Bombay. Bombay company, that their furniture, something about it does not want you to paint it. So that furniture does require like a good scuff sand, or even slick stick on Bombay, which you don't usually use slick stick on wood. All right, so B.O.S S. Let me tell you about B.O.S S. That's what we're using right now. B.O.S S is not only an adhesion primer, but it is a blocking primer. So it's what I'm using it right now. I don't need primer to make my paint stick. My paint would stick beautifully to this, beautifully. But I need a primer to stop that bleed through, all that nastiness that you saw coming off on my paper towel. Okay, so I don't remember what I was saying. What was I talking about? That really distracted me. Never had anyone ask that. Oh, adhesion. I was talking about adhesion and blocking.
G says they can't wait to see the retro kitchen.
Ah, Sunday. You'll see it on Sunday. Sunday. It's going to come out on the blog post, and we'll post it on, if you're following me on social media, on my channels, on my pages, you'll see it on Sunday. And it is so cute. Anyway, I was talking about B.O.S S. Yes. You usually use 2 coats of B.O.S S. Slick stick, I always use 2 coats of slick stick. B.O.S S, for if you've got a really bad bleeder, this one I'm not sure it was going to really seriously bleed through. I'm just doing it as a precaution. And so there's a chance that I will only do 1 coat of B.O.S S. It's not what you should do. If you've got a bleeder, you need 2 coats. Slick stick, I never, ever go against the rules.
Magic in the Garage wants to know, what is the mister for?
What's the what?
The mister. Yeah.
This is for painting. Now, I don't use, you don't have to use a mister. You don't. I just have it near me. It is so hot and so dry right now that I am finding that I need to add water as I'm painting. Otherwise, the chalk paint dries really, really quickly. It usually dries within 15 to 20 minutes in perfect conditions. So if it's super hot, you find that it starts to set up pretty quickly. Here's another opportunity to talk. You see this as you're painting, you've got a lot of carvings, you see that? So in order to get in there, you want to pounce. You want to pounce around that all up in there. You really want to get your B.O.S S into those grooves, because in those grooves, a lot of that extra old dirt and old furniture polish hangs out. And then if you haven't blocked it with your B.O.S S primer and you put your paint on top of it and then you put your top coat on, that ugliness will seep out of those grooves that you didn't cover. You know, if you just did like that, that's not blocked. That's not going to block anything inside there. You're not blocking that. So it's super important if you are going for a blocking primer to make sure that you get down in those grooves, because that's the only thing that's going to block that stuff. So back to talking about coats, slick stick, the one that you use for metal, stone, formica, anything slick, glass. There are some very specific instructions with slick stick. I use slick stick on probably 8 out of 10 projects. And you need to put a coat on. It's not just use 2 coats. You need to put that first coat on and let it dry overnight, or for like 8 to 10 hours at least overnight. Come back out the next day, put another coat on, let that dry for several hours, and then you can paint your project. Let's see. Oh, we were talking about brushes earlier. So this is flat medium, and this is mini. Those are my two favorites. There's also flat large. Looks like this. You can see the difference between the flat medium and the flat large. And there's also a flat small, but he didn't bring that. He didn't bring that one over here.
I didn't see any up there.
There's mini, and there's also with the short handle, there's mini with an angle as well, which I use that a lot on that kitchen that I'm going to be showing on Sunday because it had a lot of cutting in to do. So the angled brush is really good for cutting in. So this is the first step, all right? This is the first step. So this is the beginning of something that looks like that. Let me tell you what I'm going to do next. I will finish putting one single coat over the whole thing, and then I will come back and probably put a light second coat on. I'm going to do clear next. And then I'll go ahead with my tea rose. So let me open up tea rose for you real quick and show you what it looks like in the jar. And then that's tea rose over there as well. It looks a little darker on that piece because that piece has been black waxed. So this is tea rose in the jar, like this. And then that's tea rose over there with black wax all over it because I used a black wax on that one. So this piece will get a full coat of tea rose, and then I'll start the design process. So now that it's all one color, now that it's all white, I'm sure that you can see that I'm going to keep my scene in this bottom area right here. And maybe I will go ahead and do Harlequin on this, and then start putting on the field of flowers and the bunny rabbit, and maybe do, you know how that tree is coming over with the clock and the teapots hanging from it from the transfers? Maybe I'll do my tree from this side. So that one's coming that way, and this tree will come this way with the bunny and the guard and Alice, and I think that's what I'm going to do.
If you cover in black wax, would you still put a sealant or gator hide on top of that wax?
On this piece over here, I did gator hide the top of it, but not the body of it. Just because it's a nightstand, I really only felt like it needed that hardcore top on the top surface. And the rest of it, I just let the black wax cure it. It didn't need any more. You can put a satin top coat on top of it. Actually, I think I did do a satin top coat on that. Yes, I did. I black waxed and I did a satin top coat because it's got a sheen all over it. So yes, that has satin top coat all over that whole piece, and gator hide on the top surface only.
How did you get your husband on board with upcycling furniture? Mine thinks I'm having a midlife crisis. Yours must really be a wonderful guy.
Oh, he is a great guy, and it's, for one thing, I've been doing it for...
I added that last part.
I've been doing it for... Did you add that last part?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've been doing it for 12 years, and he was on board from the beginning, but he didn't really help that much. He says he did, but I didn't think he did. But now he comes out and helps with the videos, and he's kind of made friends with a lot of you here on the lives as well. And I don't know, it's just kind of our time. We enjoy it. He helps me set up. He helps me clean up. It's just kind of our thing. I mean, it's my job. It's my full-time job. It's my passion. I love what I'm doing, but it took him a while.
It did, and I was on board right away. So why would you use white B.O.S. instead of gray?
Okay, so we have a couple seconds. Let me explain that before we go. So clear B.O.S. to me is really for when you think that you're going to distress furniture. So if you think that you're going to sand back some furniture, that is probably best to use a clear B.O.S. That way you don't show any white or gray underneath. Why use white or gray B.O.S.? Is that what the question was? Mm-hmm. It's really a preference. I feel like gray B.O.S. is a little bit more of a blocker. Like this white B.O.S., you can see it's still you can see through it a little bit. It's just a personal preference. To me, gray has a little bit stronger coverage. But the main reason I use it is I use a lot of bright colors. So I use like the peony and honky tonk red and flamingo. I use a lot of those bright colors. The reds and the pinks are a little bit more translucent. You would think they would have heavy coverage, but they don't. Like peacock and mermaid tail. Those colors have like tons of pigment and they're dark. But the reds, the oranges, and the pinks go on a little bit more sheer. And so if you put gray underneath that, you get a heavier look in your color. Whereas if you put white behind it, it almost brightens or makes the sheerness more evident. So I believe that Dixie Belle came out with the gray to be used under like the reds and the oranges and the pinks. I think that's why they came out with it. So it's really just a personal preference.
Thanks, Leona. Sherry says, did you use stencil for the Harlequin on the piece next to you?
Yes, that
She loves
is.
everything you do.
Yes, thank you. Let me grab the stencil. It's right here. That is the my favorite stencil because I painted a Harlequin for years with no stencil. So this is a Harlequin stencil by Dixie Belle. It's one of their Mylar stencils. And you can get this on the website. You can order it. I put my link on the video, and you can go there and look under bells and whistles. Go under tools and bells and whistles, and the Mylar stencils are there. It's not a silk screen stencil, it's a Mylar stencil, and it's Harlequin. And that is what I used over there. I use it on a lot. And if I do it, I probably will only use it on the raised areas right here. So thank you. Yeah, they have lots of stencil selections now. Love that. Anything else?
That's it.
We're good? We're good. Okay, well, so that's that. That lets you know, we kind of walk through the process of how you decide if you feel like you need to prime or not, and what primer to use, and also how you can work two pieces of furniture. I'm glad that you got to see them looking the way they do, where they don't even belong together, but I believe in the end you'll look at them and go, oh wow, that looks really like part of a set. You can imagine them one on each side of the bed, and I think it'll be, it's just going to be magical. Anyway, thanks so much, Dixie Belle. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having such amazing products. Thank you all for being so supportive. And get yourself an Alice transfer. They will transport you straight to Wonderland.
Two quick questions. One is, will you use any wood you bend, and do you use adhesive spray to secure stencils?
Okay, good questions. No, I will not use wood bend on this. I want to focus on just the curvature of the piece and the paints. I don't need any wood bend. There's enough carvings and stuff going on already. I love wood bend. I use it all the time, but I won't use it on this. And then, do I use adhesive spray? No, I do not. I don't. Why? Normally, because I'm working around things and like over edges, and I don't. I just hold them in place or tape them in place. But I'll just hold this. If I do this, I just will hold it in place. If you watch my videos, you can watch me do it in action. I just hold them. Thank y'all for joining me here on Dixie Belle. I love you all, and we'll see y'all soon. Talk to you later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.